Hello and welcome, everyone. I'm Mark Janish. This is the flagship podcast program for AccessMediaGlobal.com Sports. I'm Mark Janish, founder, host, and podcast voice for AccessMediaGlobal.com. Just wanted to go over some things for you today, this Saturday, December 2nd, 2017. Well, locally, the Bishop Diego Cardinal won the CIF Southern Section Division 6 CIF Championship last night with a 37-6 victory over Golden Valley of the Foothill League. 37-6 victory. Bishop Diego scored 23 unanswered points in the fourth quarter to pull out a game that at that point was still in doubt, leading 14-6 after three quarters. Tom Crawford, 131-80-1 over 18 seasons as Bishop Diego coach. He won his first CIF title. The group that he just graduated with 21 seniors, by the way, or will be graduating this year, was 42-8 in their career. And congratulations to Tom Crawford. A couple other stats for Division 6 followers. Bishop Diego was the number one seed. They should be going to the state championships under the 3A option as far as any models that the CIF Southern Section has put out there. That I think that'll be next week. I'll keep you posted on that. We should have an audio link for you if you want to follow the Bishop Diego Cardinal into Division 6. The Bishop Diego Cardinals scored an average 13 victories, 1 loss. That was a double overtime loss, I believe. 13-1. They scored 44.7 points a game. They only gave up 11.7 points per game. They also were plus 30 in the turnover differential department. And so we'll see on that. The Dos Pueblos Chargers will be playing Quartz Hill in the Division 10 final tonight at Quartz Hill. So I'll have potentially some information on that to give you in a later podcast. Once again, this is the From the Bench podcast. I'm Mark Janish in association with AccessMediaGlobal.com. I'm the founder, senior writer, and the podcast voice. This is the flagship program, so anything that's going on with the aforementioned website will be stated here. I'm going to go ahead and do some of that later in the podcast. Do want to actually touch on a couple of things regarding tonight's action. Looking forward to Wisconsin, Ohio State at 5 p.m. Pacific time. Simultaneous to that, we'll be looking at the Miami Hurricane, number 7, against number 1 Clemson. Also, the team that I don't want to see is number 6 Alabama sneaking in anywhere near the college football playoff. Essentially, they haven't really played anybody, and it's just a whole snafu of things could go wrong when the selection committee comes out with its final rankings tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific time over the auspices of ESPN Television, the Entertainment and Sports Programming Network. Wanted to go ahead and get into some odds and some games. Going to pick some games for you. I probably will begin tracking those next season. I kind of started a little bit late in my tracking of these things, but we'll go ahead and give you what we can give you for the weekend. So let's go ahead and look at the NFL favorites, underdogs, point spreads, and over-unders. We're going to go ahead and do that right now. First game we're looking at is at Atlanta. Opened at 3 and continues to remain at 3. The over-under is 47. I'd go ahead and I'd take the over on this. I'd probably go ahead and take Atlanta and the points, actually. This is a road game for Minnesota, although Case Keenum has done a wonderful job leading Minnesota to the brink of the playoffs and in quite a good position. I'm not going to say to get the best record, but definitely in the conversation. So congrats to to Minnesota. Atlanta looking to stave off the likes of the Seattle Seahawks. They're 6-5. So go ahead and take Atlanta and the points and take the over at 47. The Baltimore Ravens and the Detroit Lions. Detroit is the underdog in this game. Once again, take Baltimore and the 3 points, even though Joe Flacco has been, to say the least, a disappointment at that particular point in time. So right now, I've chosen Atlanta and Baltimore, and the point spreads are 3 each. The New England Patriots, the defending champions, right now is at 9-point favorites at Buffalo, 48. I go ahead and take the over. I think this game will be won by New England, but I don't know that it's going to be the 9 points. I think they're going to win by about 7, I would think. San Francisco and Chicago. San Francisco is the underdog. The spread is 3. This is a bit of a clunker game. I go ahead and I take the under at 41, and I probably go ahead and take the Bears only because they're playing a home game at Soldier Field. Green Bay and Tampa Bay. This is a pick'em game. It opened as a pick'em, and then today the point spread is 2. Tampa Bay is the underdog. I don't really want to mess with this game, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take Green Bay because Jameis Winston, I'm not sure, is playing right at this time. The over-under is 44.5. Go ahead and take the under at 44.5. Lambeau Field could be very, very cold at this particular point. The surprising Jacksonville Jaguars, the next pick, playing Indianapolis. This game's in Jacksonville. The over-under is 41. Take the over at 41. And and take Jacksonville. Take Jacksonville and the points, okay? So we're going to go ahead and move on to Denver. Denver at Miami. This is Jay Cutler and a very, very disjointed Denver team looking at their quarterback problems. Go ahead and take Denver in this one by virtue of their defense. The over-under is 38.5. Go ahead and take the under 38.5. And the underdog is Miami. Go ahead and take Denver in this one based on the defense. Kansas City sliding by default in the AFC West to give the likes of the Los Angeles Chargers a chance to win the division. The Kansas City Chiefs are playing the New York Jets. In New York, 43.5 is the over-under. The point spread remains at 3.5 as of now. So 43.5. Go ahead and take the over, and I go ahead and give the edge to Kansas City. But this might be a trap game for them. I'm not happy with the way Kansas City's been playing after a very, very hot start. They're now 6-5 and in danger of sliding further and further down in the AFC West. At Tennessee, the surprising Tennessee Titans playing Houston minus Deshaun Watson. Go ahead and take the Titans and the 7 points. 42.5 is the over-under. That line is moved by 0.5 point to 6.5. Once again, take the over and the Tennessee Titans. The Chargers looking to make a run at the AFC West title by virtue of Kansas City losing, and then the Raiders and Denver playing poorly. This game is at StubHub Center. 14 points is the line right now. 43 is the over-under. Go ahead and take the over at 43. I'm not sure I take the points in this case. 14 seems to be a lot, but I do believe the Chargers will win the game and go to 6-6. The Rams at Arizona, 1:25 in the afternoon Pacific time. At Arizona. The over-under is 44.5. The spread is 7. Go ahead and take the Rams and the 7 to win at Arizona, 44.5. Go ahead and take the over. The Rams have been scoring 30-plus points a game throughout the season. They're about 30.3 right now. So go ahead and take the Rams and the over. Oakland and the New York Giants. This game had potential to start the year, but once again, we're in all-star ran mode. Geno Smith starting for the New York Giants after the benching of Eli Manning after 210 starts. Okay. 41.5 is the over. Under. Go ahead, and I would take the over 41.5. I don't see Geno Smith beating Oakland in Oakland, even though they're doing poorly. I do expect Derek Carr to have a pretty decent game over the Giants' secondary and porous defense, which all Giant fans know about. So go ahead and take Oakland and the 9 points and take the over at 41.5. The Saints, trying to come off a loss to the Rams last week, are going to be playing Carolina. 4.5 points is the spread. This game is at New Orleans. Go ahead and take New Orleans and the over 48. And I would say, and I do believe that New Orleans will cover the spread at 4.5. The night game on the National Broadcasting Company Sunday Night Football Game of the Week finds the Philadelphia Eagles, the high-flying Eagles, 9-1. Carson Wentz will be in Seattle. And what can I say? The over-under is 47. I think that game is going to be over. I do have some concerns about the Seattle secondary. Word out of Seattle is that Cam Chancellor, due to a neck injury, may not return permanently. It might be a career-threatening injury anyway. I'm not going to say career-ending, but that's what I'm hearing out of the city of Seattle. And then, of course, Seattle doesn't have an offensive line. And then, of course, you put more pressure on the likes of a Russell Wilson, who's the leading rusher and passer for his team at this point. The Seahawks have no semblance of a running game or offensive line. Eddie Lacy has been a bust coming over for 1 year versus Green Bay. He should actually give John Schneider back any money that he's stolen. Yes, I said stolen in the form of a paycheck from Seattle. So take the over, and I do believe Philadelphia will cover the spread. I do believe that Seattle will win this game by virtue of them being at home. Pittsburgh, favored by 6 at Cincinnati. Marvin Lewis's job appears to be in some serious doubt right now as far as him staying in Cincinnati, but we've said that before, and he's only been coaching the team for the last 16 years. I don't know why he's not fired anyway as far as his performance and making the playoffs, but cannot for his life get out of the first round. So I go ahead and I take Pittsburgh and the points. Take the over at 43.5 there. So that covers the NFL. At this point, I want to say congratulations to the USC Trojans for a 31-28 victory over the intellectually brutality of the Stanford Cardinal and David Shaw. 31-28 Trojans. Trojans winning, of course, the Pac-12, excuse me. Pac-12 championship. So right now we're going to go ahead and we're going to go to the website, accessmediaglobal.com. I'm happy to say with the help of Gold Social Media and Gabe Pereira, we've been able to go ahead and do some upgrades on the website. I want to go through page by page, give you a little quick tour. Now, on the homepage, you're going to see an AMG logo. You're going to see home, about, on air, football, baseball, NBA basketball, the international page, which I just reestablished, in the contact page. If you have any comments constructively regarding the website, you can certainly contact me at that point. First of all, we have the Stitcher audio player. We're seeking by code to get an episode list, but right now we just have the Stitcher player up. This podcast can also be heard on Libsyn as well as Stitcher. You can subscribe. You can rate the program. You can rate the podcast if you'd like. Hopefully it's been a blessing to you, and hopefully we give you a little bit of more of a little bit different of a spin on sports. The last podcast that was done here that you see, 53 minutes and 15 seconds, was on November 22nd, just before Thanksgiving. This one will be up as soon as possible. We're going to go ahead and get Libsyn up as well. So that's what you see. And then, of course, you see the latest news. At this particular point, I have a YouTube channel. I wanted to promote that. Well, you see Access Media Global Network logo, And then, of course, the Golden Valley and Bishop Diego, I was able to get the KZSBAM 1290 Santa Barbara stream affixed to the post, and hopefully you enjoyed that. And then, of course, you see 2018 World Cup draw by group. I'm going to have more to say on this, but I did want to post those. They did come out yesterday. And earlier this week, the Big West Conference, which basically entails a number of the UC's campuses here in California, 9 schools. They're going to be adding Cal State Bakersfield and UC San Diego. They're going to be joining the conference in 2020 and 2021. Okay. Now, apparently there's a 4-year process that San Diego is going to have to go through to become D1 eligible. But welcome to CSU Bakersfield, the Roadrunners, and, of course, the Toreros of UC San Diego. And speaking of the Toreros of UC San Diego, they're going to be playing UC Santa Barbara tonight after a 79-72 win over the University of San Francisco. The Gauchos, who were 6-22 last season, have improved miraculously almost to a 5-2 record. I'll have more to say on the Gauchos in a future podcast. I will say this: the 6'7" transfer, I believe he's a graduate transfer out of Nevada, Leland Baker III. He's actually scoring very well. So is sophomore Max Heidegger for UC Santa Barbara. He's was named the Big West Player of the Week last week. So I'm going to go ahead and later in the evening, later in the afternoon here, we're going to put up the podcast link. We're going to put up the broadcast audio link from UCSBGauchos.com. Need to announce that the pregame show, 15-minute pregame show, is going to start at 6:45 Pacific time. The tip-off will be at 7 o'clock. That, of course, courtesy of UCSBGauchos.com. And we'll have that link for you if you'd like to listen to the game. And I love bringing live events to you, even though right now we don't have the money to put into broadcasting ourselves. We like to bring you the opportunity to listen to your favorite teams and your games. And then, of course, we get into some of these post-specific things. Right to the left of that underneath on MLB baseball, I had my congratulatory column, 300 words or less for you all. Congratulations to the World Series champion, Houston Astros. And then, of course, the NBA basketball, the Los Angeles Clippers, who are struggling and scuffling right now at about 8, I believe 15. Injury to Blake Griffin. He's out 2 months with a knee problem. So that's 2 more months. The Lakers don't have their franchise guy. They just gave him 5 years, $173 million, and he's not available. Okay, and then to the right of that, we have the Los Angeles Kings NHL page. I'm going to address the NHL page in just a moment. Then I have the on-air page. That's where you're going to find various on-air entities like podcasts, either mine, self-produced from Access Media Global, or some other podcast that I do post occasionally. That would be like Locked On Chargers. That would be the Fearsome Twosome podcast for the Los Angeles Rams. And then the Around the League podcast, courtesy of Chris Westerling and his crew, that's usually posted on SoundCloud and or Stitcher. I usually use the Stitcher feed. And then, of course, I already mentioned the World Cup draw. I posted that yesterday for the benefit of those who want to deal with soccer. And I'll have some things to say about that here in just a couple of moments. The About page is self-explanatory, explains a little bit about my vision for Access Media Global and about me. Essentially, I'm a sports junkie, always loved broadcasting, but because I didn't necessarily have the opportunity in my youth to do that, I had to create my own platform, which I've done, which you're listening to and looking at right now, portion of. Okay, under the football page, okay, I have football-related posts. Now, those could be, generally those are professional NFL posts. Now, we do have some Twitter feeds available for the Oakland Raiders, the Seattle Seahawks, and the Los Angeles Rams. I'm choosing right now to leave it as is because of preferences and the need to keep the NCAA and the Power 5 conferences from the NCAA college ranks available to you. I don't really want to alter this page too much. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to have an alternate way to get for you to get to favorite sites. You see Mark's favorite college football sites. We're going to install that on all of our pages. I don't necessarily see that happening for hockey, but definitely we're going to get my baseball favorites and some other favorites available to you as we go on, and we'll get to that in just a couple of moments. Moving on from the football page, the Major League Baseball page and the Minor League Baseball page are now complete. Upgrades there. You see my congratulatory column and my picture, a little cut off there, it does look like. Underneath that, you do see the Major League Baseball feed. That's updated consistently and constantly, and that's a new feature for you so that you don't miss anything on a national basis of the American Major Leagues, especially as we get in toward the winter meetings taking place in Florida on December the 10th. Excuse me. And then you see the Baseball Tonight podcast with Buster Olney, one of my favorites, the MLB.com page. And then Gammons Daily, written by columnist, longtime MLB Network participant Peter Gammons, and the Gammons Daily. And then you have the NPB, which is the National Baseball Major League Sport Japan. And then, of course, the KBO, the Korean Baseball Organization, underneath that. And then underneath that, we have the Twitter feeds, social media feeds for the Los Angeles Dodgers, the California Angels, and I believe we have the San Diego Padres in here. San Diego Padres, the Seattle Mariners, and the Oakland Athletics. So it runs the gamut between the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, the Los Angeles Dodgers, the Seattle Mariners, the Oakland A's, and the San Diego Padres, okay? And then underneath that to the left, as you scroll down, you're going to see the RSS feeds. We move those right now for content reasons. We're going to keep it there. If you want to add a specific team to your RSS feed on your own site, you can certainly do that. I'm happy with the Major League Baseball RSS feed as it is. These favorites lists will be reorganized shortly, and we'll go from there. As far as NBA basketball goes, this is another change we made. We've added the RSS NBA feed, updated constantly right at the top of the feed as of right now. Anthony Davis is going to be out Saturday with a pelvic injury. He left Friday's loss at Utah early in the fourth quarter due to injury, and he doesn't look like he's going to be playing in Portland. The four-time All-Star, once again, Anthony Davis, was ruled out of Saturday's back-to-back games in Portland. He's listed as unavailable to play with a left pelvis injury. He joined Frank Jackson and Pelicans players in the team's updated injury report and can't play tonight. He'll miss his second full game of the season. The Los Angeles Clippers, Austin Rivers has been fined $25,000 for inappropriate comments to a fan. So these are the latest RSS feeds. That's like the first two that are new. Then to the right of that, you see articles that have been written by me, Mark Janish, are on the Clippers, the Lakers, and I do have a Clipper article that I'm going to be posting soon in this regard. But definitely, as you scroll down here, you see the Los Angeles Lakers, the Los Angeles Clipper feed, and to cover those of you in Northern California, the world champion Golden State Warriors, and of course the up-and-coming Sacramento Kings. Even though their record hasn't reflected in the standings too well, I definitely am high on the up-and-coming Sacramento Kings as to when they're going to be relevant and good again. I'm not sure, but I do definitely know they have some good veteran players, and they do have some good young players. De'Aaron Fox being one of those in Sacramento, young players, and of course Zach Randolph carrying the load, or some of the load, for the Sacramento Kings. On the baseball page, I forgot to let you know that's one of the newer pages that we've opened up and added content to. Not to be redundant, but want to go back to the Major League Baseball page minor league baseball page for just a moment. We do have, for those of you fans of minor league baseball, we do have an RSS feed for minor league baseball. That has just been added. And then, of course, we decided to go with AAA. That's not to say that those that are in single A California League, or if they're single A short season baseball, 76-game season, that doesn't mean you're not relevant. That's just a choice that I have made to go ahead and regionalize things and provide you the feed so you get a taste of what all the levels are doing. But for the purposes of the blog, you see Minor League Baseball US. And we've added the Oklahoma City Dodgers, which is the AAA affiliate of the Dodgers. The Salt Lake Bees, the AAA affiliate of the California Angels. And then, of course, the El Paso Chihuahuas, which is the AAA affiliate of the San Diego Padres. And then last but not least, the Pacific Coast League representative of the Seattle Mariners, the Tacoma Rainiers. Okay, so we're going to be actually just kind of following those. We may actually present to you through the auspices of digital audio. We may present to you some links to some games in the future, but we wanted to let you know that we've expanded the minor league baseball coverage. We've also expanded the Major League Baseball coverage. So those pages are going to stand pat right now. I don't see any changes being made there anytime soon. We did open up an old page to a new audience, I guess you could say, the International Sports Headlines. And you see, as you click on Access Media Global, you go to the international page. What you see is sports headlines from the United Kingdom, Australia, Japan, Canada, Malaysia, Taiwan, Argentina, Mexico, and China. At the top of the list, however, you see South Korea, and I wanted to let you know we're going to expand a little international coverage. The South Korea Times is one of the largest newspapers in Seoul, South Korea. The 2018 Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang, South Korea, they're going to be commencing between February 9th, 2018 and February 25th. So mark your calendars. This is going to be one of those options you're going to want to go to on the site. It'll redirect you to the sports page. As I click it here, we do see the Korea Herald, and we see Pyeongchang 2018. North Korea misses figure skating deadline for Pyeongchang 2018. There's a report there that you want to look at. Korea is in the same group with Sweden, Mexico, and Germany. And then, of course, that's the latest from South Korea. As Pyeongchang 2018 Winter Olympics approaches, you're going to want to go to this spot on the website for more information. Now, that doesn't mean that I might not post United States-related stuff, but obviously the home country is going to want to be represented. Under the United Kingdom tab, I have the UK Telegraph and the BBC.com sports page. Both of these are very good, especially for those of you following the Premier League and any other cricket leagues or rugby or anything of this nature specific to the Premier League, because most of us in the United States who are in the know on soccer know that the NBC Sports Network has a tremendous package related to the United Kingdom. But we're going to get to the soccer options in just a moment. But underneath that, we have the Sydney Morning Herald. Click on that and you'll get all the Australian football news, all the soccer news, and all the Australian sports news all the way around through the Sydney Morning Herald. The Times of Japan is the next option for you. Canada, we have the Globe and Mail. I believe it's the Toronto Globe and Mail. So for those of you who are hockey aficionados, for now, you want to click on that and get all your hockey news. Malaysia is there, Taiwan is there, Argentina, Mexico, and of course, China. So this is where you want to go for your information regarding international sports headlines for now. Now, I mentioned the NHL, and I also mentioned international soccer pages. Going through this week and trying to improve some things on the back end regarding performance of the site, we discovered some drafts of some former pages that were not opened up. But I will tell you this, the plan going forward is to present to you a page with links to multiple leagues and some social media options specific to the English Premier League. Want to go ahead and just put that teaser out there. That'll be coming very, very soon. So we're looking forward to that, and I'm hopefully just going to find an awesome international soccer feed for you that's going to give you all the leagues. You're also going to have access to individual leagues like the Bundesliga, Series A Italian soccer, the MLS, and congratulations go out to Brian Schmetzer. The Seattle Sounders and Toronto FC will be facing each other December 9th, 1 p.m. after a brilliant effort against the Houston Dynamo. The Seattle Sounders will be able to defend their MLS title coming up on December 9th, 1 p.m. Pacific time, once again on the Entertainment and Sports Programming Network, okay? The National Hockey League, I enjoy hockey as far as going to see live games, but I can't say that I'm real proficient with hockey, perhaps as I would need to be. But for you hockey fans, we haven't forgotten you. What we're looking to do is we're looking to get an NHL feed. We're also looking to cover is it 3 teams? Let's see. I think it's 3 teams. The San Jose Sharks, the Los Angeles Kings, and the Anaheim Ducks. Okay, that's not to discount the Las Vegas Knights, who are doing great in their inaugural season, leading, I believe, the Pacific Division, or tied with the Kings, somewhere in that regard as well. Those of you who are watching standings regularly would know better than I in this case, but I do want to let you know we will be bringing some RSS daily feeds and some social media coverage of those teams in the very near future. I want to thank Gabe Pereira, Gold Social Media of Santa Barbara. I want to thank you for listening diligently over the last 7 years. This site was founded as a one-page blog on Google on December 20th, 2010. I hope and I'm prayerful that it's been a blessing to you. I do it because it's a labor of love, but I also want to give you some comprehensive viewpoints and comprehensive information, which we're in the process of bringing together. So let me go back and just review the on-air page for you. What is that about? Well, if you go to the on-air page, you see sports digital newspapers by region and sports radio by region. My goal here was to go ahead and give you an option if you're out of market. But you still want to read a local newspaper, have access to some articles, unless they require you to have a digital subscription. We have state by state and region by region options. Right now, if we look at it, I have Arizona and Southern California is split into Los Angeles, Santa Barbara, and San Diego. In Northern California, we have the San Francisco Chronicle. Texas, we have the Dallas Morning News sports section. New York, we have the New York Times sports page available. Washington, D.C. is available. Massachusetts is available through the Boston Globe. Florida is available. Michigan, Missouri, Georgia, Colorado, and then, of course, Pittsburgh and Philadelphia comprising the state of Pennsylvania. On the left side, Oregon represented. Ohio is represented. Cleveland, Ohio is represented, and so is Cincinnati, Illinois, and the state of Wisconsin. So you see that right next to that, sports radio by region based on how I've laid it out for you. Okay, so enjoy that. That's the on-air page with accessmediaglobal.com. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just continue to keep you apprised. We'll be back shortly with another podcast, potentially Monday. Fortunately, I have some free time, so we're going to catch up on some material. We're going to repost some things for this evening. We're going to write a little bit more impressions on the Clippers and where they go from here based on the injuries and the direction they have. It's almost like the perfect storm has occurred for the Los Angeles Clippers in the sense that Doc Rivers is already on the hot seat. Chris Paul's in Houston. We have microfracture injuries to Patrick Beverley, plantar fasciitis injury to Milos Teodosic, the 30-year-old Serbian rookie. He's gone. I'm not sure about Cedarius Thornwell, even though Doc Rivers is eyeing him. I've also mentioned Austin Rivers, not necessarily being a 2 shooting guard, being more of a 1 with an inconsistent shot. So we'll see what happens with the Los Angeles Clippers. I do believe it's probably time and past time that Doc Rivers gets fired and released from his job as coach of the Los Angeles Clippers. But it just seems like this is a lost season already. I'm not ready to write them off, but at the same time, I've stated before in previous podcasts that I believe that it will take at least 44 victories to qualify for the 8th spot in the Western Conference being so stacked at this particular point in time. So those are some of the updates that I have for you. You can always contact me on the Contact Me tab. Send me a message. I'll get it. As long as it's constructive, not destructive, and not offensive to me in any way, I'll respond. But I'm not here to play games. I'm not here to deal with riffraff. I'm here to talk sports with you, to interact with you constructively, to give you some sort of encouragement. We're 23 days now from Christmas time. I am aware that because of fractured family and the fractured core of society, that some of you are a little bit apprehensive, shall we say, regarding the holiday season. But I want to bring you some sort of joy and some sort of perspective as we get into the holiday season for those of you that don't have family, but you gravitate toward sports. So there's options for you here. I'll be here to give you information regarding the college football playoffs. We're going to discuss some NCAA basketball when I get an opportunity here in about another week or so. We'll also be following various playoff teams and who's in, who's out potentially in the next 4 weeks as we go through the end of the NFL season and get into the playoffs starting in the first week of January. All right, everyone. This has been a great time for me today. I'm Mark Janish, AccessMediaGlobal.com from the Carpinteria Valley in Carpinteria, California. I'm Mark Janish, wishing you a very pleasant good afternoon for December 2nd, 2017. I'm wishing you a very pleasant good day. You're always welcome to come back to AccessMediaGlobal.com. Hopefully it's been a blessing to you. You have a great day and a good weekend, everyone. We'll be back probably Monday talking more sports and more opportunities to discuss what happened, why it happened, and so forth. And we also want to discuss in future podcasts the coaching carousal. Why is Jimbo Fisher getting $75 million over 10 years and he's in the SEC West? And you know who else? You know who is there? The Alabama Crimson Tide. And so we'll be discussing the college football committee selections and other things of this nature. But for now, I'm Mark Janish for AccessMediaGlobal.com. You can count me out for now. You have a great evening. You can also follow me on Twitter, MarkJanisch at Mark Access Media. Have a good evening and a great weekend, everyone. Thanks for listening.